Hello everyone, it's your favorite Busa boy, Yammie Noob. Yup, easy intro. Today we're going to discuss cruisers and why we even have them. Some riders are asking why they're still considered bikes, and well, others, they just live that cruiser life. I get a lot of comments from you guys saying that I don't know jack all about cruisers, but hell, we're doing a video about them today, so buckle up. Or don't, because motorcycles don't have seatbelts. Whether you love them, hate them, or have never been on one, it doesn't matter. Cruisers are a part of history as a type of bike that's here to stay for the long run and have cemented their place in motorcycle history, so let's dive in and see what they're all about. What is a cruiser? As always, before we jump into things, I need to make sure you're on the same page as me here. Cruiser bikes are based on the designs of the 1930s, 40s, 50s, and even 60s. They're intended for upright and relaxed riding with the feet forward of the body or directly under for a very comfortable position. Typically, cruisers have a V-twin engine with larger displacements than sport bikes or standards. This bike allows for a very ergonomic experience focused on pleasurable riding. One of the common traits of a cruiser is its lack of a rear suspension, which allowed lower production costs and earned the nickname hardtail. Later designs included a rear suspension and were dubbed softtails. Cruising is the act of driving or riding with no set destination in mind nor any time constraints. If you want to watch a movie on this, try American Graffiti. Before smartphones, the internet, and everything else that distracts us today, the younger crowds would go out cruising during the nights and weekends. The cruiser motorcycle does just this. Life was a whole lot simpler back then. Speaking of simple, how is your wallet holding up? Are you still using one of those old leather ones that have the 4 panels that flip out and you show all the pictures of your family? You have a family? That's ridiculous. Why do you have a family? Go rip some dank nooners. Let's talk about Ridge wallets. They sponsor today's video. Designed for the minimalist, allowing you to carry only the essentials like your license and a few cards, Ridge wallets are available in titanium, carbon fiber, and aluminum. You can get it to match your bike. That's sick. And also, they have a lifetime warranty, which is kind of unheard nowadays. I love to carry mine around because it makes things so much easier. Seriously, I have one. It's my daily wallet. Really, guys, take out your wallet and look how much junk you have. Do you really need it? Honestly, no. Get 10% off with the code YammieNoob at checkout and click the link down below and get yourself free worldwide shipping. Code YammieNoob at checkout, 10% off, free worldwide shipping. Thanks to Ridge Wallets for supporting this video. Now let's keep it moving. The history of the cruiser. Back in the old days, motorcycles resembled bicycles with engines as opposed to anything else. As the 2 world wars raged on, so did the production of motorcycles. Companies such as Harley-Davidson produced bikes in mass quantities for the war efforts. As a great marketing side effect, when troops returned home from the war, they desired those bikes they rode overseas. Enter the military surplus motorcycle such as the Harley-Davidson WLA. Produced as a multi-purpose bike to be used on and off-road primarily in the European theater, the WLA was the bike that inspired a generation of riders. Troops came home looking for surplus and civilian-ready WLAs, which they then began to modify. They chopped off some of the military-specific parts, such as the heavy-duty luggage rack, rifle scabbard and holstered, and windscreen. As the 1940s concluded, there was a surge in leisure time, and most of the younger crowd and veterans were on Harleys or other bikes, and their favorite pastime? Cruising. From the days of the World Wars to today, cruisers have undergone very little in regard to their appearance. They're timeless classics and get a few updates here and there, but their design, shape, and the engines have been kept relatively the same. For Harley-Davidson, their engine design and sound have been an iconic part of American history. Cruisers today now have electronics integrated into their gauge clusters and fuel injection as opposed to carbureted fuel systems. They're relevant and capable with brands such as Triumph, Ducati, and the resurgence of Indian. They're more current than they've ever been. So let's talk about the cruiser's purpose. If you're a dirt bike rider or a sport bike rider, then cruisers might confuse you. The purpose of these bikes are simply to enjoy the ride, specifically the freedom of being on a bike, the scenery available, and the sheer thrill of it all, and just being atop your noble steed. For cruiser riders, it's not about speed, discomfort, or lane splitting. Seriously, there are simpler ways to ride a motorcycle. Cruising is about you and the bike with nothing but the open road ahead of you. Cruising has a lot of antisocial properties, like being away from the world, but it also has a lot of therapeutic value. Bad day at work? Just go for a cruise. Wife left you? Go for a cruise. Your children died? Go for a cruise. We've mentioned Neil Peart before, but he literally went on a 55,000-mile cruise after losing his daughter and his wife. This is it, people. This is where motorcycling becomes more than just some hobby and actually has a meaningful purpose in life. I want to tell you that we could all cruise for thousands of miles on an R1 or S1000RR, but in reality, these bikes are designed for racing and will probably begin hurting your lower back and joints, all of them after the first 3 hours or so. I have back problems, a lot of other riders do. If you have problems with your body but you want to ride, sit on a cruiser. It's like literally being on a sofa with wheels. The level of comfort is night and day compared to any 600cc crotch rocket. No forward lean angle, no stress on the joints, just pure and total relaxation. So what can't they do? So a cruiser has a lot of great purposes, specifically for relaxed riding and overall enjoyment. So what isn't its purpose? Well, going fast and leaning hard, or going off-road, or doing any sort of serious riding, whatever that means. The top speed of most cruisers are under 120 miles per hour. That's third or fourth gear on most sport bikes. Cruisers are also designed for slower cornering, and their pegs will scrape at very relaxed angles compared to sport bike standards and nakeds. Cruisers definitely shouldn't be pushed to their limit, even though a lot of guys do and have a lot of fun doing so. They are larger in size and have more weight than sport bikes. The purpose of these bikes is for straight line performance, if that, and the sustainment of slower speeds. You don't want to redline that V-twin engine on a daily basis, since its pistons are bigger than the comparable inline fours. Another word of caution to riders out there: cruisers shouldn't be your first pick if you're the kind of rider that wants to lane split. It can be done, yes, but having a narrow and skinny bike that makes the deed much easier. Lane splitting is one of those things that every inch matters. You can think of something else where every inch matters. Consider your overall purpose of why you want a cruiser before you buy it. It's okay if this is your second, third, or fourth bike in your stable. We here at Yammie Noob don't judge anyone for buying a new motorcycle for a different purpose. We're just as obsessed as you are, so remember to identify why you want the cruiser and some of the sacrifices you might need to make. Personally, you guys know me, I like having a lot of different bikes at my disposal. Introduces a lot of different types of riding to me, and I think it makes me a better rider. Who should ride a cruiser? Well, there's no definite list of who rides cruisers. Everyone does, really, from squids to stunt riders, men and women. Everybody alike can swing a leg over a cruiser. Noobs should be warned that the cruiser can be meant for noobs, such as the Rebel 300, and then riders should experience something else later on. Cruisers have weight and a ton of it. Have I mentioned this before? Since they're not the easiest to control in bad situations and not the lightest to pick up when they drop, they can have a lot of parts that touch the ground on a drop as well. Dropping them can be more expensive than a sport bike. Seriously, a chrome exhaust, chrome engine, chrome everything gets real expensive really fast. Gone are the days when only motorcycle club riders with leather vests and gray beards are the only one on a Harley or some type of cruiser. I've seen plenty of women, old guys, young guys, all kinds of guys alike, and have zero affiliation with a motorcycle club on a cruiser. If you want to ride but find crotch rockets to be uncomfortable, too fast, or simply too much to handle, then try a cruiser. They're a lot more manageable, and once you gain riding experience and have the love of joint pain and previous injuries, cruisers will treat your body right. I'm not saying a sport bike is terrible compared to a cruiser, but you really need to experience at least 1 hour of straight speed on a sport bike to appreciate how comfortable a cruiser really is. They're not even ADVs, touring bikes, or even the most comfortable bikes out there, but the body and seating position alone will do numbers in making you feel better. Who else rides cruisers? I hate to say it, but people who don't like wearing full face helmets do end up riding cruisers. It comes with the image and something that's been going on for decades. I think a lot of cruisers are going slower than crotch rockets. They give the impression of being a safer type of motorcycle. However, speed isn't really the factor in cruiser accidents, and there's never a reason to not wear a full face helmet, in my opinion. What's worse is that as riders gain experience, sometimes they'll forego a 3/4 helmet to a half helmet. Some will even break DOT regulations and wear a skull cap or other unacceptable piece of equipment, in my opinion, to protect their head. Icon produced a helmet known as the Airflight, which has crash statistics printed on different parts of the helmet. A whopping 19.4% of all accidents involved an injury to the chin area, a level of protection not available on a 3/4, half, or skull cap design. It's okay to wear a full face helmet on your cruiser. You don't have to be a part of a certain image just because you ride a certain type of bike. Flip-flops are always optional on Hayabusas. End the stereotypes. Just like 95% of the world thinks that crotch rockets are some asshole on a Ninja or an R1, most of the car driving normies out there think that all cruisers are Harleys. Wrong. Cruisers are made by a plethora of companies. We at Yammie Noob just did a tier video on cruisers, actually. We covered companies such as Royal Enfield, Triumph, Ducati, Arch, and even all the big four from Japan. There are a ton of options if you're looking at a cruiser. It just takes a little bit to research. Actually, in our opinion, some of the best cruisers are not Harleys. Other stereotypes about cruisers is that they're slow, which they definitely are not. They have engine displacement and torque and can wheelie easier than some sport bikes. It just takes skill beyond what your Papa Yam has to pop a dank nooner on a cruiser. Another one is that they can't maneuver. They can, in fact, maneuver. Most modern motorcycles can take a corner just fine, but it's more on the rider than anything else. Have you seen police riders ripping it through those courses on their huge touring bikes? Remember, anything is possible. Cruisers can maneuver just the same as sport bikes at low speeds. So, do you think a cruiser is right for you? Why or why not? Let me know in the comments down below. That's going to wrap it up for today's video. I hope you learned a thing or two about cruisers, and maybe if you're hooked on squid missiles, you'll one day consider riding or maybe even buying a cruiser. Do you think I should buy a cruiser? Maybe I should get one in the garage just to see what it's all about. In today's world, the Triumph Rocket 3 would be an amazing cruiser bike to have. You don't have to get a Harley. Other options exist. Until next time, see you later. Fact: Dan Bullock from Greensboro, North Carolina lied about his age and served in the Marine Corps at the age of 14 in 1968. After turning 15, he was deployed to Vietnam where he was killed in action at the age of 15. He's the youngest American service member and casualty of the war. Goodbye.